All right, all right, all right. Carnivore Soldier coming at you from Austin, Texas. It's been a couple weeks now. Last week I had a scheduling conflict, so I canceled. And this week we're going to go forward with our talk, and we're talking about a subject of getting older and not letting the old man in, as Clint Eastwood says, which my dad pointed out to me. I love Clint Eastwood. He's still working well into his late 80s, early 90s, I believe, still producing fantastic movies and acting. The guy's just amazing. And they asked him, like, what do you do? And I think Toby Keith wrote a song about it, so Country Western song called Don't Let the Old Man In. And that's what we're talking about today. How do you not let the old man in? And if you're a woman, it's an old woman. It's not, I'm not just being a sexist here. This is just the statement that Clint Eastwood said. So got a couple people here. You know them. We got John, the Carnivore Teacher, 1965. And we've got DC Learning to Live. How's it going, guys?
Great.
Yeah,
great.
Good to see you guys. DC, we haven't talked in a while. What's been going on with you lately? What are you up to?
Yeah, it's been a lot going on, I guess, like behind the scenes. For me personally, I think my wife just spent 3 weeks in Japan, so I was bacheloring it for 3 weeks, yeah, that was a bit of a mess. But I've just been refocusing on myself at the moment. I'm sort of refocusing on the things that I really want to do. So I've been refocusing on my book. I've been editing for the last couple of weeks, last few weeks, and it's just about there. It's almost where I want it to be. I've had trouble over the years trying to get this because I really want it to be perfect. I really want it to say what I want it to say. And the problem has been the memory, and the memory just hasn't been there for that period. So I've been going through a lot of my notes and research and my wife's notes and things like that, and just sort of focusing on that. Like with YouTube, I've been kind of sidetracked for quite a while now. It's because it takes so much time to put together a decent video and to keep maintaining the channel and that sort of stuff. So I'm just gonna let that sort of trickle a little bit for now until I sort of get everything that I really want to do, like such as the writing, and just really refocus on the things that matter more, I think, at the moment.
That's good, man. That's good. Hey, you know what? You were sharing a TikTok video and it's not there anymore. Can you reshare that?
Yeah,
so
sure.
Present it in a little bit. That'd be great.
The links in the private chat there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then John, why don't you tell us what you've been up to? It's been a couple weeks since I've seen you.
I know, because we skipped a week. What have I been doing? Making YouTube videos. Just chugging along. It's interesting. What is the title of your book going to be, DC? Or does that come later? Does that become?
Yeah, well, at the moment, it's called Not Done Yet.
It's called Not. All right. Okay. Yeah, I like that. The reason I ask is I wrote, I think, about 6 articles for a publication called Healthy You, and someone suggested, why don't you combine them all and write a book? And I'm like, whoa, I never thought about writing a book. And you're writing a book. So that might be in my near future. That would be amazing to be a published author for Carnivore. So who knows? I never thought I would go in this direction, but I've learned so much. I have a lot to share, and, as you do, and your journey. Yeah. So that's where I am right now.
I'm actually working on a book too called The Carnivore Way.
Oh, wow.
And it's basically where I get my videos as ideas and make them into a book, basically.
Excellent.
So talk about making carnivore affordable and how not to fail and how to fail with purpose and all these things, right? I'm going to basically build a book. I've been working on it. So, and I'll probably include some other things in there that I've written about carnivore, because I think that's great stuff. And I think I can contribute to the cause. And hopefully, like I said, if one person changes their life based on that, that's mission accomplished, right? The mission carnivore.
I was just saying, like, the way John's going, he might actually release a record soon too.
Oh, that's another. I've got. Oh my gosh, I've done about 10 songs. I'm doing them with Christy too now. So
Well, that's enough for a record, isn't it?
right. Yeah. But they're all copyright. I'd have to do major contacting the author of the melodies and get permissions and all that stuff. But this is just for fun. Yeah.
We're talking about don't let the old man in, but I forgot to catch everyone up on what I've been doing.
Yeah. What are you doing?
So I bought a new car, and it's not brand new, but it's a Porsche, and it's my first Porsche. I've always wanted one, and I first test drove a Porsche back in the 80s, John, and it was a 944, and I wanted one. I was like, and I didn't buy it, and I should have. And then I test drove again in the 90s, didn't buy it, and I should have, because I love Porsches. I never did, and finally, I'm 58. I'm like, I can keep putting this thing off, or I can just go do it and buy what I want and enjoy, that aspect of life. And I bought it. I still have my Jeep and everything. That's going to Colton, my son. But the Porsche I bought was a 970, which is a Panamera turbo V8, which is beautiful. It's like top of the line.
Wow.
It's 14 years old. It only had 32,000 miles on it. And then we entered it into a father and son, the Father's Day car show. And that was Sunday, and we actually won first place for import. I'll hide this so I can show the trophy off a little bit. This is pretty cool.
Show it off.
So
look at that.
Colton and I got to do the 2024 import first place.
Awesome.
We got to get up in the winner's circle, and it was really something special. It was a special Father's Day for us.
He'll never forget it.
Exactly. Those memories. I mean, his eyes, he was sitting there and then when they called out the 2010 Panamera and, from Gerald, Texas with Larry Allhands, Colton came running up the hill. It was hilarious because I was already up there. I was confident. I'm like, we're going to do it, man. This car is amazing. We worked really hard on it, So, anyway, we got a private chat in there. All right. So anyway, it was really a great weekend for us. Really enjoyed it. So fantastic. And I'm super glad to be back though, and to be back on the carnivore circuit here. So we're going to talk about don't let the old man in. And what we're going to discuss is, how things we do to keep the old man at bay, right? How we maintain the quality of life. Like I like to say that I want to keep my fine-tuned Ferrari running in perfect condition until the day it dies, and just have it crash that day, right? Whatever kills me.
Good enough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't want to be like slowly going down. I want to be like fine-tuned, 100% performance, and boom, just one day it's over.
Right.
And that's the way I want to go. And if it's 120, great. If it's 90, great. We don't know when
it doesn't matter how long you're here for. What matters is what you do and how you feel while you're here.
Yeah, so you don't want to be here for an extended period of time and be miserable. You want the best quality of life, whatever that. And as Rick says, until you get that heart attack, then bam, you're gone. That's the way you want to go.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be stuck in bed or a wheelchair for like the last 20 years of your life.
So many people are like that with our modern healthcare system. They keep you alive and you're miserable,
Yeah.
That firsthand, I know because my mom had Alzheimer's and her last 5 years were awful.
Oh,
yeah.
Awful for us to see it.
That's hard.
That's the thing too. It's hard on the family as well. That's something you sort of have to understand. Is when I was going through treatments, it was tough. It was hard on me, but I could also see like people around you too. It really affects you, and even like my wife, especially, of course, because she was there the whole time through it. Like years afterwards, she was paranoid that I wasn't waking up. Like she'd sort of wake me up to, if I just have a nap, she would wake me up just to make sure I was breathing. Things like that.
Wow.
So it can be.
That's tough. That's psychologically hard, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. So we know that the carnivore diet changes a lot of things in our body, in our mental acuity, like everything, our physical, spiritual, emotional, everything gets tied in, I think, off what is in our gut and what goes in our mouth. What are some things that we do to keep the old man out? I'm going to download your video, but if you guys want to share something that you guys think of.
I'll upload the video file if you want, or you can use the TikTok. It's up to you. But this is what I do to keep the old man out. Basically, I don't have an old man. I've got a 28-year-old man inside that just I need to bring out every now and then.
Got to share the screen or something.
Share one at a time. So here we go.
Almost 4 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning. Today we're going to do a conditioning workout. It's going to go pretty heavy today. I haven't done one of these for a couple of weeks, so let's get into it. All right. Let's see. This is how you keep the old man out.
Farmer carries the deadlifts. Deadlifts and a farmer's carry.
Yeah.
Yeah, 345s on each side.
345s each side.
Dang.
The max I've done is four each side.
I don't think I can do
That bar is not an Olympic bar.
No, that's a hex bar. That's actually heavier than an Olympic bar. That's a 30-kilo bar.
Yeah, it's good, man. So I've been doing that. I've been doing the nice rope climb.
Where is this? Is this the gym you go to? Because I don't see anybody there.
The gym I go to, yeah.
Did you hire it out and so you could be alone and film it?
No, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, so there's no one else there.
Oh, 4 o'clock in the morning. Who's filming it?
My wife.
Oh, there she is, right there. I see her in a picture.
Oh, in the mirror. Yeah. Oh, you're clapping. Jeez, I got to try that.
Hand clap pull-ups. I like doing that.
That definitely keeps the old man out, right?
You know, if all three of us were in the same gym, we would be like going at it. I'd be competing.
Absolutely.
Like, I got to try that. I've never tried that. Oh, wow. That is awesome.
That's good stuff, man. All right. So we know you get up and you work out early in the morning. I do the same. I went to the gym this morning. I did deadlifts. I did back and biceps. I did farmer carries. So I do the same kind of things you do. I mean, full body movements. Yesterday I did chest and triceps and farmer carry. I do farmer carries every time. I do a variation of farmer carries, whether it's a suitcase carry or two different weights, like a 70 in one hand and a 55 in the other, and then switch going back and forth, work the obliques in different ways and stuff.
Yeah.
And just to build that grip strength. I think grip strength is an indication of your how long you're going to live too, right? Longevity. I think
grip strength is one of the indicators for longevity.
Grip, as in grip strength, really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because actually, grip strength actually all starts in your neck. Like all the nerves and muscles are actually when you squeeze your hand, squeeze it as tight as you can. You'll feel that come up right up in the back of your neck.
All right.
That's where it all starts. All right. So squeeze as tight as you can. That and I think calf strength is another a good marker as well. In your calves.
All right.
If you have like good mobility good strength in your calves, you'll have good mobility, stronger knees, stronger ankles.
Yeah.
So you'll have the more mobility. I just think the more mobility you have throughout your life, the longer you'll live because you'll be much stronger.
And
So,
the more muscle we can retain and grow as we get older, the healthier it is.
right.
Because we tend to atrophy as we age, unless you are eating more protein as you age. You need to have a little bit more than younger people, and you need to work more muscles as we age.
What do you do to work your muscles regularly?
Well, I'll play my video. No, I don't have a video. I could play my singing video for you and say, this is my workout video. I was going to joke with you and put it on. You all think it's going to be like DC's. No, I used to go to LA Fitness before COVID. I let the membership die. I bought a Bowflex Revolution, which is like rubber bands, but it's a whole machine with, they look like weights, but there's like rubber bands inside the weights, and they go on both sides. Bowflex Revolution. So I have 3 different workouts I do, for back and bis, chest and tris, legs, shoulders, all the different parts. And so I do my bike ride in the morning. I walk at night, and I do a workout 3 days in a row, and then I take a day off, and then 3 days in a row, and I take a day off.
Oh, that's good.
And when I don't do it, I miss it. Like I'm on a trip somewhere. Like when we went to Austin, Texas, the hotel we stayed at had a workout room. I did go down there once. It was crowded. I couldn't get what I wanted. Kind of sucked. I missed my workout. When you don't do it, you miss it. When I can't ride my bike, I miss it. So it's really, that's what I'm doing to stay healthy. And I notice a difference from the days when I just sit around and do less work. I can feel the difference in my muscle tension and even just how I feel. So I plan to work and move until I can't work and move anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. It's just movement, it really doesn't really matter what you do. I think people should enjoy what they're doing. And like you said, like you should miss it when you're not doing it. And it's consistency over time as well. It's not about, do half an hour, today and then have, go back in a couple of days sort of thing. And being out in the sun is fantastic. That's where you really recharge your body and do some grounding. And that's what makes you feel so good about it too. Get outside as much as I love working out outside. I'm going to be doing that soon. Actually, I'm going to get some home equipment, I'm just going to get some like sledgehammers and old tires and things like that. And I'll show people how to train outside at home in their backyard.
Yeah. Make a video.
Yeah.
If you don't have weights, there's a lot of body weight exercises you can do. You don't have to join a gym.
Oh, calisthenics are great too,
Yeah, you can do
like DC said, it's about movement. I mean, you don't have to have I have this equipment that I paid money for. It was COVID long, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Glad I have it now. And it's something I can use. It's a tool. I have the pull-up bar, like I saw DC doing the pull-up, and now I'm going to try to clap. I have it on the door, and I do those every day. I could do more and more each day. So it's nice to see the growth too. Like if you're doing it for a while and you push yourself a little bit that you couldn't do before, and now you're just like, now I can do it. Like I do push-ups every day after 2. I do, a bunch of push-ups. Like I can go a little further and do another couple more. And then when I take a bunch of days off, I don't want to go as far. It's interesting.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's good to some people like to keep track of where they're at. I just when I get up, I just do what I feel like doing for that day, sort of thing. But it feels good. Like if you push yourself, okay, today I'll try to do say 5 more push-ups than yesterday, and then 5 more the other. Just progress like that. Doesn't even have to be 5. Even 1 more push-up.
Even just 1 more. By the time the week is up, you've done 7 more. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But where I think gyms are important, or gym equipment, especially like pin weights and things like that, is a lot of people, when you don't need equipment, when you say you don't need equipment, body weight exercises, a lot of people can't do body weight exercises. They're too heavy. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
And like when I first started back, like I'd only just got back to walking. Like there was no way I could lift my body weight. So you have to start with like small resistance bands that are really cheap, work on your joints and that sort of stuff. And then, this is where, pin weights especially are very useful, because pin weight machines take out all the imbalances for you, and you can just pretty much just push and pull, and you can exercise those muscles. And until you can build up to your own body weight, you can start very light,
Yeah. Well, so back to Larry's title, Keeping the Old Man Out. I have a memory of my father. My father passed away about 4 years ago. He had ALS, late onset, and it just went downhill within less than a year. It was terrible to see. But up until that year, he was 84. Up until 83 years old, my father was the role model for doing what you're talking about, Larry. He would do push-ups. He would walk. He didn't have a machine or equipment or a gym, but he was always active. And he always told us as we were growing up that we had to stay active and lift and work out and do things. And if we're role models of that, kids are going to pick it up early. And it has stuck with me. And I've worked out ever since I got out of high school. I've always either been a member of a gym or I had some equipment. And I think it's because of my dad. And it just, the habits stick with you. So no matter what age you start, if you develop this routine, and like DC said, it's consistency. Doesn't have to be heavy, doesn't have to be enormous amounts, as long as you continue to do it and you continue to challenge yourself. And as I say, as a teacher, the frustration point, you frustrate yourself a little bit. You push just a little bit more than you can do the last time. Each day, even if it's just the fraction of a bit more, because then when you hit the end of the month, look how much further you've gone. Look how much more you can push.
Well, yeah, that's a good example. Like if you did say one push-up more every day,
just one,
by the end of the month, that's 30 extra push-ups.
Yeah, and that's just a month. Add a couple more months on top of that, and you could be doing 100 push-ups before you know it.
And same as like if you're in the gym and you're putting weight on the bar, even if you just do 10 pounds a month, again, at the end of the year, that's a lot of weight. That's 120 pounds. Yeah,
exactly. Larry, you're muted or something.
I'm muted?
Oh, you were.
No, if you can't do your body weight because you're so far out of shape, which a lot of people start out, they are, right?
Oh, yeah.
What you can do is you can walk initially. Then you can walk and you can carry some hand weights. You can buy this very light hand weights just to carry them. And it's like a farmer's carry, but incorporate a little bit of weight and then build your way up until you can do body weight or join a gym. Some people might not be comfortable joining a gym,
right.
Depending on what. But like these guys said, both of them, movement is the key. Getting off the couch, and you're going to feel, if you've been carnivore, if you're going to be carnivore, you're going to feel that motivation to do something. And
you just feel more positive when you're moving,
feel good.
Like even now, if I've been sitting down on the computer or doing some writing for several hours or so, you just get up and move around, you instantly feel more positive. But apart from that, I mean, not many people are in that situation, but when you can't even walk, you can do some strength exercises for your ankles and knees, for example, and move your legs if you can. Depends on your situation, of course, because I know for me it took a couple of years before I could actually walk again. But you can do some movement even on the bed.
Yeah. And like you look at the guy from Alaska, Bill, what's his name? The guy from Alaska, 700 pounds, or even like Todd. These guys are really heavy and they started walking across the room, right? And that might be what it is.
Baby steps.
Something.
Yeah.
But anyway, so John Allen talked about, now it's okay. So we're talking about physical stuff, and physical stuff's important, but it's not the only thing to keep the man out, the old man out. John Allen talks about being carnivore who kicked statins, eats sufficient saturated fat now, and no longer fears Alzheimer's, Parkinson. I was living in fear. I was living in fear every time I went to the doctors that this is going to be the one where they tell me I have cancer, or I start forgetting something and think that, oh, my mom had Alzheimer's, so now I'm going to get it. And that was my fear, the genetic, pattern, right? That I have to follow, that only the pharmaceutical companies can save me from. That's what I thought. And I think that's part of that too, is not living in fear, is keeping the old man out, right? And once you realize the mechanisms behind cancer and Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, and then what things affect it, a lot of that fear goes away. For me, anyway. What about you guys? Bill nod. Yes.
Well, I get more confident. I won't say that's completely gone, because I mean, every time I get tested, it's always in the back of my mind. Is it going to be?
Yeah.
You know? And I've got more tests coming up in at the end of September. I've got some CT scans and blood tests and things like that. But you know, like I've been living with that for the last 12 years. You know, every time you get a test, it's sort of, is it back, sort of thing. But I am far more confident now that I've been in remission. Like this October will be 10 years remission.
That's amazing.
You know? And like that 10 years hasn't been great. Like it's all of that has been recovering and learning to walk, learning to move, and starting, you know, to re-heal my body. But you know, I'm moving pretty well now. So as you can see from that
according to the video we just watched, you're doing, like, compared to 10 years ago, plus you have the picture of yourself in the upper right hand corner, you've made a complete turnaround and recovery, and your body is muscular, and you're articulate and healthy, and I mean, you are just.
Well, that's been one of the biggest things for me too, is learning to being able to speak again. Like after the transplant, I really couldn't speak very much, and I was pretty much pre-dementia, because I couldn't remember things. I'm still very fuzzy about that whole period, but you know, I would completely forget people were in my house visiting, talking for hours, and 10 minutes later it'd be completely gone. I had no memory of them being there, and still don't. So you know, that's what chemotherapy, when you radiate your brain, you've been through so much chemotherapy, that you know, that ends up happening to a lot of patients. They become dementia patients, you know, the Alzheimer's and all sorts of things, Parkinson's, or you know, neurodegenerative diseases happen afterwards. So that, to me, the recovery, that has been that was pretty scary for me, because I knew I was pretty much headed that way. I was headed for dementia.
Wow.
And that was to come back from that, even to where I am now, and I feel like it's getting better and better as we go, as I continue. So that was a really scary part for me.
Wow. Mine, I told you my dad had ALS, and I never had a fear of acquiring any of these diseases. Now there's one in my family, and they don't know that much about ALS. They don't know if it's genetic or not. It could be. It may not be. You know, no one else in the family ever caught it. And then I have a cousin who had Alzheimer's, and she recently passed away. A first cousin. So, you know, no one is immune from these diseases, and diet can pull the trigger or not. If we are eating a crappy diet, if we are eating starch, sugars, seed oils, if we are eating foods that are full of additives, preservatives, shiny sprays, chemicals that are in the ultra processed food, and we have a potential genetic disposition for something, then we are pulling the trigger, and we more probably can acquire it. Versus if we're eating carnivore, we're very healthy, protein, fatty acids, vitamins and minerals, exercising, movement, mindfulness, grounding, sunlight, sleep, stress level management, that trigger's not going to get pulled.
No, that's right.
The chance of being pulled.
Another factor though is low fat diets as well. It's not.
You need high
fat. Whole combination, because the fats, I mean, especially your brain is made of fat and cholesterol.
Absolutely.
You know? So
and that's why our way of eating is perfect for this, because we're eating a lot of healthy saturated animal fats, not the seed oils. We always have to specify that. What's John talking about there with testosterone? How come his is so high?
Apparently, mine went up too. Mine went up quite a bit.
Oh, you mean it went high on carnivore?
From the standard diet.
Oh, I don't even know how high. I know mine went up, but I don't know how high.
So we can just talk about hormone regulation, because I think women are going to have different outcomes, which I've heard is also very good as far as like regulating their cycles.
Well, yeah, women have the same effect. I mean, like, women produce testosterone as well, but the ovaries turn the testosterone into estrogen. Right. So, I mean, and it comes from the same place. It comes from your cholesterol. That your cholesterol production, it produces testosterone. So if you have low cholesterol, you're going to have low testosterone, and it's exactly the same. So when you have things like TRT, like hormone replacement therapy, your body will actually slow its own natural production of testosterone, because your blood will have from the supplement the testosterone level, so it'll stop producing it itself. And this is something I need to get. I try to get across to people too. It's exactly the same for vitamin D3, because it is produced the same way. It is your hormone. It is a hormone produced in cholesterol. And if you over supplement on D3, and if that's in your blood system, your body will naturally produce less. So you want to actually produce. You want to get as much as you can from your hormone production, not from supplementation.
And that goes for any supplementation we make. Whenever we take something, the body sees that we're taking it exogenously, and it slows down the endogenous production of whatever, usually.
So for women, it'll affect their menstrual cycle, I know, and it also will help them with when they go through the change in life, right?
The menopause.
The menopause change, or the perimenopause. But from what I understand, from women that are full carnivore going into that and through it, that it's very minimal as far as an effect, negative effects. The cortisol levels aren't out of control with hot flashes and
I think also if another good point is, like, just off the top of my head, I'm just thinking that if they go carnivore early on in life as well, menopause will be put off later, because your hormone production will be optimal,
better.
So you'll be healthier longer, and it'll, this just thinking off the top of my head. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm just saying it makes sense that it would be sort of put off to later on in life,
Dr. Berry tells a story of some of his past patients, and they went on carnivore, and they were going through the change, and then the change stopped. They reversed. She got pregnant. She got mad at him.
Pregnant,
and other women who were saying that they started having their period again. Just like right at that cusp of having menopause. So it's amazing what eating well can do for our hormones.
It's all about hormone production, and you're not going to have proper hormone production without the proper nutrients. If you have, and this is the thing, you got to have the right nutrients in your body and we are designed. We have 5 major organs, all designed to absorb fat, and it's not because it's fat, but it's because of everything that's in that fat. All those vitamins and minerals and everything like that in that fat. And that's what keeps our hormones operating at optimal levels. So, that's the key to longevity.
Yeah, that's one of the things that keeps the old man out, right? Is our optimized hormones.
Optimized hormones.
And of course, like I said too, the reason you need that movement is because all that fat gets absorbed into your lymphatic system, and your lymphatic system can only move that lymph fluid by muscle contraction. Your skeletal muscular system is the pump for your lymphatic system, so you have to move if you want to move fats. If you want to have proper hormone production and cognitive function, you have to move your body.
Agreed.
Definitely. In DC, I learned so much from you. I learned little pieces of information from different people. And, I've learned a lot about the lymphatic system from him, and never thought, nobody talks about that. Yeah. And then the hydrogen molecule you were talking about before, nobody talks about that. So it's
deuterium.
Deuterium. It's interesting to hear a little bit from different people's angles and perspectives, because if you only listen to one or two people, you're only getting that very narrow band of knowledge. People come at this from all different angles. Larry and I met Dr. Kiltz. You remember meeting him? He's a fertility specialist. We met him at Hack Your Health in Austin. He specializes on getting women pregnant and having men working well to get their wives pregnant. Different doctors work at different angles. They're different specialties. So we need to always stay open to learning all the different aspects of our health. It's not just the food you put in your mouth. It's a whole bunch of other stuff too that we have to consider with it.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that's right.
So I want to talk about something else too here, and this is something that Josephine brought up, tying right into it. I used to be a horror fan, but the last 4 months I get bored after 10 minutes and turn them off. Me too. I had similar. I used to like horror movies. I don't like them anymore. It's amazing how much your brain changes on carnivore. This is a huge thing.
Is it boring you, or you don't, or is it scaring you, or what? What changed? I don't even know if that happened to me.
I'm just not interested anymore. It's almost like the alcohol thing. It's just something that I don't.
Something that's not stimulating you anymore.
That stimulation was there before.
Interesting.
But something has changed. I don't know how about you guys.
That's an amazing thing, isn't it? Yeah, when I've spoken to so many other carnivores that, when they talk about addictions, and it doesn't matter what kind of addiction it is, since going carnivore, they've just lost that zest for the thing they were addicted to. And it doesn't matter what it is, be it horror movies, gambling, smoking, all these other things, I think it's really interesting.
What it does is when you're nourishing your body, you're getting everything your body needs. That stuff shrivels away, because the stuff you had before, when you were not nourished properly, was hitting these little dopamine centers in your brain. You were giving yourselves these little bit of dopamine hits with the cigarette or the alcohol or whatever the bad habit was that you were addicted to, the gambling, whatever. Yeah. And now that you're being nourished, you don't need those dopamine hits. It's like you don't need that. It's a fascinating. That's another topic that a person can write a whole book on that, how it fades away. You don't even have to try very hard. Your addiction can fade away with little effort when you eat right.
Yeah,
and not just addictions, because that exact same thing that you get from watching a horror movie, the excitement, the exhilaration, the scare, is similar to what first responders and military get, where you have a full 6 months of boredom with 20 minutes to an hour of terror thrown in there, and then your adrenaline junkiness goes up, right? But I think this will help calm that too. I think that's why it helps with PTSD and other things.
Right. Yeah.
It's the same dopamine centers.
Yeah.
It's just different things triggering it. And then once you get past that, you keep the old man out by not artificially stimulating that, because you don't need it. It's pretty amazing.
I think it's got something to do with the ketones getting to the dopamine center, because you're just more level-headed. Like, you don't get so excited,
An overall feeling of wellness on ketones. It's not a super high, but it's level. I'm constantly level. Whereas before, man, I was an emotional roller coaster all my life. I thought it was just because I was Italian. People said, "Oh, he's very hyper. He's Italian." They're very much, you see it on TV and the movies and everything. Everybody's screaming and yelling and everything. And I was raised. No, it's because I'm very level now. You talk to the people who know me, they're like, he's a different person.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a different person. Listen, I feel like I'm a better version of myself every day. I really do. And that's what's great, is we have the opportunity to, not live in fear, to become a better person, to normalize our hormones, to get our physical fitness back that we had when we were young, our youth, right? That's what I feel like. So feeling athletic. There's so many things to keep the old man out that just come from this. It's amazing. So Last Day of Normal says she's in menopause and doesn't even know it. I'm curious, how long have you been carnivore, and how long you've been in menopause?
Wow.
And,
Don't even know.
Were you
women.
carnivore before you were in menopause? I'm interested. Just, because I'm not a woman, so I'm very, she's 50, better not get pregnant yet. You ever watch that?
Be careful. That's Cami, right?
I think that
Be
happened
careful.
with a 50-year-old that Dr. Barry was treating. I think he said one of them was 50. And
Yeah.
Wow.
she was pretty angry at first, but anyway, yeah, so that's great. But another thing is, I look at older people who let the old man in, and you can see them, and they're moving in the grocery store very slowly, and they're arched over, and they're you can tell they have osteoporosis going on. You can tell they have arthritis going on. A lot of things that we want to keep at bay as long as we can.
I guarantee you, a lot of those people are on statins because it's pushed on, especially the elderly, and the statins just rob you of obviously the good cholesterol, the cholesterol that we need. And I remember when I was on a statin in my 30s, I felt like I was 70, literally. I remember being in the gym, and I just felt like an old man in my 30s. I took myself off of statins. So I look at these elderly that you were talking about, Larry, and I'm like, I bet you they're on statins. How do you?
Hard to watch. Because
it's very hard to watch.
You want to go tell them, hey.
I know. You feel like you have the answer.
Yeah.
I see them in the gym too, and I see people like they're wasting their time because they're doing the 20% and ignoring the 80, or the 10% ignoring the 90. They're not doing the thing that's important. Moving is important, but you got to do it in conjunction with diet. You have to do some kind of diet where you're eating at least whole foods. I mean, if you were just to cut out, we were talking about this earlier, if you were just to cut out sugar, processed foods, seed oils, and wheats and grains, and then eat a whole food and eat plant, that's fine. Just eat a whole food diet. You would do so much better.
So much better, right?
So much.
And then you get to that point and you see how great you are, and then you'll say, let me take it up another notch and go to carnivore. That's what a lot of us do.
A lot of people do that. They drift towards carnivore from keto.
Because when you just say to somebody, oh, you need, try carnivore, and just from like you did, Larry, it's like, boom. A lot of people are like, no way, I can't give all this up. A lot of people want to do it step by step. Everybody's
personal. It's remarkable. People, they are so addicted. I've spoken about this before, but you'll see diabetics. They'll literally have limbs amputated.
I know.
They won't change their diet.
They won't. They'd rather have another toe cut off.
They'd rather keep eating their food and just keep amputating pieces off here and there.
And I know these type 2 diabetics. I know some of them very personally, and they are doing what the ADA instructs them to do. They're scooping out their bagel. They're taking out all the bread out of the middle of the bagel and smearing the cream cheese in there, and they're still eating the bagel because that's what they advise. Oh, you can still have healthy whole grains, just cut down, and then make sure you take your insulin. It's bad advice. Bad advice.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible advice from the ADA. Yeah. It's shocking.
That's terrible.
But
it's
like
shocking.
I said, foundations like that, and all these charities and things, they want to stay that way. They want to. I mean, there's no point curing everyone if you can't keep your job.
And there's a lot of money involved. There's a lot of money in big industry. That all the people that fund the ADA are, Heinz and Coca-Cola. They're funding them, and they're sugar companies, of course. And they used to be the cigarette companies.
It's crazy when I see these campaigns, like my son was telling me about, cancer awareness. Who's not aware that cancer is killing people? I mean, why do we need an awareness campaign? It's just money.
I'm pretty much aware of it now.
I think DC's aware of it.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's like
that's the
I see
thing.
that in the NFL and with baseball and all these, and they're all like, "Oh, goody two shoes! Look at me, I'm cancer aware." It's like, listen, that's everyone knows.
It's all virtue signaling.
And it's cash raising, and that's what it really is.
And the cash isn't going to find a cure for cancer because they think cancer is a genetic disease.
Going for treatment.
And all the money that raised all these years has done absolutely nothing. Nothing.
Exactly. Well, actually, it has because the more money they raise, the more cancer we get.
It's done the opposite.
And it's not just this is something people don't understand either. It's not just these foundations. Okay. It's a lot of these charities and things like that. All in all, it is the amount of money that we are talking about is literally trillions. with a T.
With a
Okay,
T.
trillions of dollars. Because you think about all these different so-called, virtue signaling celebrity charities and all these charities all the way down the line. There's like hundreds of different charities raising money for cancer. Then you have all these different foundations, and then you have actual government groups and foundations and universities and all the rest of it. We are talking trillions of dollars around the world.
That's huge.
Honestly. Yeah, that is
and if we could take that money and put it into, Dr. Seafried's work,
well, for a start, this is not new either, though. They've known about this since Warburg,
right?
Okay? And even earlier, Warburg sort of built on other people's work as well. But even people, even earlier than that, because they were treating people with scurvy, colds, flus, and all sorts of other things with meat back in the 1800s. Back when cancer didn't even exist back then. We didn't have these diseases 150, 200 years ago.
We had fewer of those. We had no heart attacks.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. And all of this is right around 1880 and later, when the seed oil and the all of the sugar and everything started to get sweetened. And then
they started eating biofuels.
All the hybridized fruits, everything's super sweet, the fruit juice, the sodas. I mean, look at the crap that we have out there today versus the 1850s.
Yeah.
Right.
Plus, another thing too, it's not just that it's juice either. Like, you can't buy juice now that doesn't have cellulose in it, which is wood pulp.
Well,
like you get it with, you get the choices of pulp or no pulp. Stuff that's not fruit pulp. That's wood pulp. Yeah.
That's
and it's incredible. It's extra sweetened. All the fruits are genetically modified to be sweeter than.
They add high fructose corn syrup. They add dextrose. They add more.
Yeah. And coloring, because it has to be, like orange juice has to be really bright orange. That stuff would literally glow in the dark. It'd be like carrying around a torch.
Remember Tang? Did you ever have Tang?
Yeah, that stuff. I didn't even drink it.
We had Tang because the astronauts drank it.
But they didn't.
I was excited.
They just marketed it. Last day of normal says she's been carnivore 15 months, probably moving towards menopause the whole time. No problem at all. So that's great to know.
That is fantastic.
I was curious how far in advance you have to do it.
Wow.
Everyone's different, of course, and it's N = 1. But now Josephine says dyslexia is almost gone. That's pretty amazing.
Wow.
Too. That's
amazing.
To see a study with that. If someone
I've heard so many amazing things, and I haven't heard this one yet. Dyslexia.
I'm not either, but it makes sense because
it does.
The brain's going to function at the level it's supposed to function at, and
that's incredible.
That is incredible, but it makes sense, right? So the other thing I think I want to talk about, not letting the old man in, is the willingness and ability to continue to learn, to be a student the rest of your life. Amen. Because I think a lot of people, my dad included, gets to a point where he doesn't want to learn anything new. And I start showing him, and he's like, I'm too old for that. I don't want to learn it. And when you shut that avenue down, you're done.
My mother did that. People do that. They think, and then they also have the pride thing. I know it all. I'm 80 whatever years old. You can't teach me anything.
Yeah.
And they're closed-minded. They don't have a learning mindset anymore. And what do you do there? How do you have to try.
There's nothing you can do, unfortunately.
At our age, we have to keep it open and say, when we get to that age, we're going to keep it open.
Yeah. Like I said, though, before, I just don't even bother arguing anymore. If they want to say 1 + 1 is 5, then fine. I don't care, honestly.
Because really,
it's not going to affect me anymore. That's for sure. I keep learning, and that's all that really matters.
Hey, everybody, if you're watching this, you're enjoying this, please go ahead, give it a thumbs up while you're watching it, or if you're watching it later, and drop in your comments down below if you're watching it later and you're not on live. Also, follow these guys, Jon at Carnivore Teacher 1965 and DC Learning to Live. You can just put their name into the YouTube channel and you'll find them. So definitely like and subscribe to their channels if you haven't already.
And Carnivore Soldier too. He's a good guy.
Carnivore Soldier.
Somebody could be a guest and they're not subscribed to you.
That's true.
Yeah, don't forget to hit. Actually, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe because it really helps the algorithm.
The algorithm and the share button.
So,
the YouTube algorithm sees if you've shared it as well. That's
Once you hit the subscribe, you can hit the black bell for notifications. So you get notified when a new video comes up, which is important too, because when a video comes up, the algorithm is trying to determine what to do with it. Should I share it to other people? And it looks at what you do when you're offered that video. And if you watched it, then they're more likely to share it with other people.
Right.
And it can change someone's life, right?
It can.
Yeah.
So it changed our lives. All three.
That's why we're here.
Yeah. Good comment there. Last day of normal. I love that every cancer fundraiser is a bake sale. Yeah, you're causing the problem. You're causing the problem you're trying to cure. Yeah, like Professor Seafried says too. When I was talking to him too, it's the same thing. Like when they have these fun runs and things like that, the only people benefiting are the people actually doing the running.
Right?
Yeah, because
and then the chemo patients. What do they give the chemo patients when they're sitting there having chemotherapy or after chemotherapy? They give them a popsicle.
Yeah, that's right. Give them chocolate milk. They give us. They would wheel this trolley around between our beds and chairs and that where we're getting treatment.
Oh, you remember?
Literally hooked up to the chemotherapy, and they're feeding us. Or they'd actually used to push ginger ale onto us to try and settle our stomach to stop us from vomiting, because ginger naturally settles your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they wouldn't give us ginger. They'd give us ginger ale, full of sugar,
sweetened,
cakes, chocolates, cookies, anything you want. But nothing healthier.
Will they not admit that cancer is a sugar hog that feeds off of glucose? Do they just don't?
I think they just don't know. I think the fact is that the way they're educated is that it doesn't matter, because that's what the so-called expert advice is, that it didn't matter what I ate, so I could eat whatever I wanted. Just get the drugs into me and you'll be right.
And they're just following their procedures and their standard of care, and they're blind. They're blind to anything new. And it's even not new. It's been around.
Yeah, exactly.
Standard of care and procedure is always going to be 5 to 10 years behind the science,
or more,
because it's got to be established. It's got to be pushed out, right? So at least 5 to 10 years.
But I think in this case, though, it's just the fact that the education is not there. That the education, like I said, with doctors, it's all about identify blood markers that will guide them to this drug. So basically, they use these blood markers to determine which drug to sell you. So basically, they're just pharmaceutical salespeople. And when it comes to oncology, it's just the same education, and it's just a little bit expanded. They don't do any nutritional education. So it's, for their minds, they're indoctrinated to think that, okay, cancer, doesn't matter what cancer it is genetic. There's nothing you can do about it because they don't know what caused it. So basically, you are at this different stage. That will determine by what stage you are at, how far along in your cancer, as to what treatment they give you and how much treatment they give you, based on how you react to the treatment. So, for example, like my first was RCHOP. It was like 5 RCHOP's acronym. So you got like RCHOP. These are 5 different types of chemo drugs, bags going through it in a 4-hour period.
Wow.
Right? The max you can do before killing a patient is 8 treatments. And initially they said, okay, they planned for between 6 and 8 because I was a very high stage 4 and had such a large tumor. So they scan you along the way to see how you are reacting and do all these tests and everything like that. And that will determine how many treatments you get. And they took me out to the full 8.
Wow.
So, and then after that, it hadn't worked. It wasn't very effective. So I had to do 18 rounds of radiation. And then I did 2 years and then it continues from there. But that's pretty much how they do it. This is the plan. This is where you are. This is where you are. This is the plan for that particular cancer, that particular stage. And they don't deviate. doesn't matter whether it's working or not. They do not deviate from that plan.
Stick to their standard of care. Wow.
They stick to that standard of care that they've been indoctrinated to follow.
Right.
And the bendamustine, actually, that was worse because like 2 years later, I was stage 4 again. I didn't have any remission period. So the bendamustine trial, like that didn't work at all, but they still did 8 rounds because that was the plan.
Oh, that's amazing. You're alive.
Yeah,
you survived this treatment.
Amazing. That shows how strong you are. Oh my gosh.
Well, so even in a layman's kind of sense, you can look at like a PET scan, like Paul says here, that it's nuclear sugar, right? It's a radiated glucose, and it goes straight into the tumors and lights them up like a Christmas tree.
Right.
So I mean, so any layman, anyone who just thinks about X equals Y, or whatever, you can look at it and go, oh wow, that causes this, so there must be some activity in the tumor from sugar. I mean, it's pretty obvious. You don't have to have an MD by your name to kind of figure that out.
Right.
You can just look at what's going on and see it. So yeah, this is not letting the old man.
It's amazing that they can't figure that out.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and it'd be interesting to ask a doctor that's, an MD, like, why does that happen, do you think? And just who's not a carnivore. I'd like to hear them explain it. Like, why would that happen? What's going on with sugar and a tumor? What's the relationship that's going on that makes a PET scan work? Just put it in like that. Like, please explain that to me.
Right.
And watch the wheels turn and the smoke come out, hopefully, as they think about it. So Aid, let's see. Aid was listening to Kiss or something. That was Aid Larson was watching Kiss play I Was Made for Loving You.
Oh, Kiss.
I love Kiss.
Group Kiss.
Kiss was my favorite band in
Did you like them?
In middle school, I loved them.
Oh, yeah.
In middle school. I grew out of them.
You remember carrying your notebook and all the kids had the names of the bands on the notebook? You had to have them on there. Led Zeppelin.
I remember that. Yeah.
Genesis.
But here's a good one. Yeah, Doctor in the Future will view chemo as the same attitude that using leeches. If we look back, right? Although
leeches could be used today for certain things to extract things out of your you
get your finger amputated. But I mean, yes. Bleeding people, that would be similar to that. There's a lot of practices that were seen as let's see, PET scans vital. Yeah. So PET scans are really important. I'm not saying they're not, because they do show you where cancer is, but I think that doctors should ask themselves a question of why they work, right? Why would that work? And if you do, then
that's another thing that really needs to change as well. When you are being tested, there are tests now that you can just test the blood and you can actually determine the type of cancer. But when they, and it should be well known actually. When you take a biopsy of a tumor, that biopsy then it makes the tumor spread. It breaks it apart and it spreads throughout the body. And this is something they still do here in Australia. They still take biopsies of these tumors. They took biopsies of my tumor, and it's one of the worst things you can do for a tumor.
Yeah, I've heard that once you open somebody up and you're taking a biopsy, a lot of times it spreads faster because of the oxygen hitting it or something.
Yeah, that's right.
It's pretty scary stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what we had. That's what we've discussed. Not letting the old man in. So I think if we recap this, we went back. Let's see, what did we start? Well, first off, you're going to eat a healthy diet, right? That's going to keep the old man out. Then you're going to move, whether it's a gym or at home or whatever. You're going to start doing some exercise. You're going to take that energy you get from the proper diet and put it to work.
Yes.
We know that eating is going to optimize your hormones. So you're going to get, all your body's going to actually function better, and your brain, like addictions will fall away, and stimuli that you were doing externally won't be needed because your brain's actually working well. What else did we have? We talked about, let's see. Anyway, I think that's about it, right? That's then always being a student and continuing to learn. So those are the things we can do. You have a lot. The good news is you have complete control over all this.
Exactly.
100%.
Complete control.
Yeah.
And
going back to like referencing like back to keep on learning. I think that keeps you young as well. You know,
keep that open mind, keep the learning, growth mindset, not a fixed mindset. I teach my students
not just learn new things, try new things.
Right. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it does, you add it to your routine and your repertoire. I get excited when I find out something I did not know and didn't learn. I'm like, whoa, there's so much to learn. We can't learn it all. We can't know it all. And just get excited when you find something new and then take it further and add it to your life. And I mean, I've made so many changes over my life. Over the last 5 years going carnivore. If I wrote them down, I would probably have over 100 different things I've changed just because of the things I learned. And I don't ever want to close that door. Yeah. It makes you a better person. You know, keep me from getting old.
Yeah. All right. And we're all in our 50s here, rolling towards our 60s.
So wow, we're all in our 50s. God. I know what I wanted to say. Do you remember, you ever watch All in the Family, guys? Larry, I don't know if you had in Australia. Larry, you've seen that, right? All right. Archie and Edith were in their 50s, right? Now, think about what they looked like and how they acted and how they, right? And people in the 70s, I think older people just looked older. And we're almost 60. I don't look anything like that. You don't look anything like that. I mean, it's amazing. So diet, exercise, move, everything we're talking about, it's a state of mind as well.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm going to live to be 120. That's my goal. That's my state of mind. I may not make it, but hey, that's my goal. So if I do, that's great. And I hope that all those years are the best, right? I don't want to be dwindling for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to 60, actually. I want to be in the best shape of my life at 60. I'm 58 in a few months, so I have like over a year and a half to get into my best shape, and I really want to do that. That's my goal.
You'll make it.
So yeah, I think I'm on track, and I just got to tighten things up and tweak, but I have time to get there. And I think also setting goals, that's another thing too that we can do to keep the old man out, right? Set goals, future, long-term goals, writing books, traveling, investing, spending time with family.
I think don't have like a 5-year plan, have a lifetime plan, you know.
Or have both. You can have short, midterm, long-term plans.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true.
It's healthy to
have stepping stones, you know.
Something to look forward to, your reason for living, your why. If you don't have it, get it, add some more to it. It makes getting up in the morning exciting. Yeah,
that's true.
It is exciting.
There's a good comment here. It was a Paul Salvatero. His son, maybe my son was lucky. We amputated the leg. He had a tumor.
That was a while ago. His son's 39.
Oh, okay, so he's 39 now, but he had cancer when he was 12.
That was 27 years ago. So that was quite a while ago. He had cancer.
Refused to have a leg amputated.
That was someone else that refused.
Sandra's right now. Okay.
Yeah. So, it's tough, Paul.
Big cancer is an industry. That's true.
Yeah, that's true. You know, like we were saying before, you know, like the more money they raise for cancer, the more cancer we get. You know,
that's
like you guys. Yeah, like you guys in America, you get like 1,700 people die from cancer every day.
Oh yeah.
And that goes up 3% year on year, apparently.
And the message is slather on the sunscreen so you don't get skin cancer and stay out of the sun. That's the message for skin cancer.
Yeah, that's nuts, isn't it?
It's just crazy. Why is everybody getting? I mean, come on. It's a lack of vitamin D. It's it's poor skin.
Yeah, in the last 4.5 million years or so, it didn't bother people being out in the sun, did it? Yeah. But all of a sudden now, going out in the sun makes you sick.
Well, people don't think. They're not thinking. They're just doing what everybody says. But I mean, I put on the local news, to find out what the weather is. Is it going to rain here later tonight or whatever? And then there's a story now that it's summertime, and it's constant every single night. Oh, sunscreen story. Put on the sunscreen.
That's right. Yeah, that carcinogenic cream.
In my head, everything,
All right, guys. Well, I think it's time to close up. I want to respect your time. It's been an hour and 4 minutes.
Fast.
I've enjoyed it. Next Wednesday, we'll have another good topic to talk about.
Great.
And if you guys want to join, you're welcome. Or the ladies might take over. I'm not sure if the.
I thought that was going to happen. When is that happening?
I haven't. I'm going to reach out and find out if they're doing it. So I hear some lionesses want to take over my channel one night, which I'm down with. I'm down with it. I'm down with that. So I'll let you guys know. But thanks everyone for joining us. I'm going to drop you guys out.
See you guys.
Bye, guys. Stick around for a minute. We'll talk after.
All right.
All right, guys. Another great episode. Hey, thanks for stopping by. You made it another week. All I got to say to you guys is stay strong and overcome. Carnivore Soldier out.